Hi, friends. This is Tiffany, producer of Sue's Healthy Minutes podcast. I wanted to jump on real quickly and let you know that today's episode is going to be a little bit different. Last week, we took a road trip to Oliver Farms down in Pitts, Georgia, where we did a video recording in their sunflower fields and oil shack, as they call it. We went in order to see all of the beautiful sunflowers that were in full bloom and to also see how Clay and his wife, Valerie, make all of their amazing oils. So today's episode is an audio recording of our trip. It's a bit longer than Sue's normal episodes, but it's definitely worth the listen. I'd also like to invite you to watch the whole video over on our YouTube channel. There, you'll get to actually see the sunflower fields and the actual process they use for making all of the delicious oils that they sell. To do this, simply go to YouTube, search for Breadbeckers, and you'll see this video located there. Once you're there, hit that subscribe button and smash that bell icon so that you'll be notified every time a new video drops. I hope that you enjoyed today's episode, and as always, thanks for listening to Sue's Healthy Minutes. Nothing in this podcast or on our website should be construed as medical advice. Consult your healthcare provider for your individual nutritional and medical needs. The information presented is based on our research and is strictly that of the author and not necessarily those of any professional group or other individual.
Hi, I'm Sue Becker from Breadbeckers. Welcome to Sue's Healthy Minutes. I'm so excited you've joined me today, and I hope this episode encourages you and allows you to find the answers you have been praying for the health of you and your family. Okay, I'm so happy to be here with my good friend Clay Oliver at Oliver Farm. You may remember a few months ago we had Clay and his beautiful wife Valerie up to Breadbeckers to do a cooking class with us to showcase their wonderful Georgia-grown sunflower seed oil, Benny seed oil, pumpkin seed oil, pecan seed oil, and we're just so happy to be here. Clay mentioned that the sunflowers bloom in June, and we were like, road trip, so we're here with my crew to see the sunflowers. We're so happy that you had us here today.
Good timing, yep.
Yep, so tell us a little bit about what we're looking at here, and how in the world did you decide to grow sunflowers?
Well, initially the idea to grow sunflowers came about for making biofuel. Fuel got high back in 2008 when the economy tanked, and I was like, wow, what can I do to offset fuel costs? So I was like, I'll grow sunflowers, crush them, and make biofuel.
Okay, whoa, stop right there. Okay, not just everybody goes, oh, I'm going to make my own fuel. So I'm thinking about this all morning today, like, okay, gas prices are high. I'm not going to go, oh, I'm just going to make my own gasoline. That is crazy. What made you think that you could do that? Did you have some knowledge of it, or you just went, I think I can do something?
It's been done. I mean, the first diesel motor was run off of vegetable oil.
Okay. So you're like,
from the beginning it's been done, and I just hate the idea of being tied to petroleum producing countries who don't dislike us.
Yes.
And we're just bound to these fossil fuels when we don't have to be, I think.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So I just was inquisitive about it. The Lord, He just put some people in my path that, it's like, hey, you should try this, look at this, meet this guy. And I
still think you're a genius. I think that's genius.
You better ask Valerie about that.
We'll talk to Valerie later and get her perspective. But the Lord is good that He gives us the things that we need. But
the seed. How neat. Each seed has some oil in it of some kind. Some of it's good, some of it's bad, some of it'll kill you. Like if you eat apples, you don't eat the seed. That's where cyanide comes from.
Yeah.
So one time I was like, I'll find apple seed and make apple seed oil. And then I was like,
well, maybe not.
Do that, So just the whole cycle of it, I call it, that's the brains or the life of the seed is the oil.
It's the oil.
Because if the oil dries up, it's not going to germinate.
Right. Wow, that's good to know. And that's where the vitamin E is that I love to talk about the vitamin E. And sunflowers are one of the richest sources of vitamin E.
Right.
Next to grain. Wheat is one of the richest food sources, but sunflowers are right up there.
Sunflower oil is really high in vitamin E. We have a lot of customers who buy it just for soap and skincare products. For that reason, some of them want it, what I would call a little dirtier. They want the good stuff still left in it.
Yeah.
And so we're glad to provide that for them.
All right. Well, tell us about this field. You were just telling me. So the rain slowed something, or no rain, slowed some things down. So you had
Yeah, we had
blooming in stages now, so that's kind of good.
We had a pretty good start, you know, but right when we planted it kind of got dry, and some of the seeds came up initially, and some of them were 3, 4, 5, 7 days later. And up on this hill here, this clay gall, you can tell they're very immature compared to the other heads. The other flowers are, even some of them beginning to droop down. So the life cycle is really neat, and this is a good example of seeing how the rosette forms, where the heads, the flower's gonna form. It's totally green there. And then you have some starting to show the head and with the yellow inside. And then say if you can come to what's the most mature one we got here. Right, this one's pretty mature. These are just petioles. These are the flowers to the sunflower. Thousands of little flowers make up the sunflower.
Oh, wow.
So the bee has to come and pollinate each one of these little flowers. And then underneath that is where your seeds are forming.
Oh, wow.
So they're already magical.
Forming. Yeah.
The Fibonacci sequence, I think it's how you say it, where the sunflower grows. It's really can't be imitated by man.
So when these are in full bloom like this, then how long before you can harvest the seed? How long before the seed will be mature?
From this point, it should be about 30 more days, 30 to 40 days, depending on, you know.
Yeah, the rain or
rain,
whatever.
You know, these are going to be a little staggered. Oh,
Yes.
See, there's a neat bee right there. See, all different kind of pollinators.
Oh, wow.
He might bite you back there.
Now, will the petals, or what do you call these again?
Petioles.
Petioles, will they all fall off? Is that how you know when they're ready to harvest the seed?
These are going to fall off in a few days. I'm trying to look around, see if maybe even down there would be some that are looking a little more weathered.
Okay.
And we can walk to some of them too. But these will fall off. This will mature on around, fill on out. Most of this will fall off, and then you'll have
the seed.
You'll see the black. Once you see the black in the head, they begin to protect itself by tilting their head down.
Oh, wow.
You know, that keeps the rain from getting in the seed and rotting them.
God's amazing creation.
Yes. And
wow.
He provides for the sparrow, right? But he also gave them a chance by turning their neck down, and the bird's got to work for it. So when we harvest them, you'll come along and certain plants you'll see on the ground. Oh, Mr. B. Underneath there'll be wads of seed where the birds have
picked on that one.
And if any head's left up, you know, like for whatever reason is genetically different, they'll eat all those. Yeah.
So my dad used to say he planted enough for us, the deer, and the birds and everything.
Yep, you better.
The deer really like them?
Oh, yes.
So how do you keep them out? Well, do you not want to answer that on that?
No, well, I mean, you know, for one, you have to control your population.
Yeah.
And then we have to know, like, you don't put the sunflowers in the middle of the back corner where the deer feel safer, you know.
Right.
Or, you know, and then some things, you know, since we don't spray chemicals on them, and, you know, sometimes the insects are more prevalent than other years. So just like you said, just numbers, try to beat it by volume.
Yeah.
The birds sound good and tranquil and peaceful, but when a flock of blackbirds come in, that's like the death to the sunflower field.
Yeah, they love it. I bet. All right, are we going to walk down in there?
Sure.
All right. This is so exciting. I've already learned so much. Oh, wow. Just look at this.
You can't help but take pictures. You got to do a selfie. You got to pick some. So like there's an oddball. See that flower with the black head?
Real tall, kind of sticking up, yeah.
These are hybrid sunflowers that I buy for the oil. It's a high oleic oil that's in it. It's very shelf stable, very heart healthy. This oil has a 1 gram of saturated fat. Okay, that's lower than olive oil. If you're looking at saturated fat, is something you need to watch. So very light oil, and it's very durable. We can fry with it. Stands up to high temps. But this one's a good example of one that's starting to fade. See how that head's almost completely.
Yeah.
I think if they'd have had rain moving into this would be fully formed. And then these are going to, you know, eventually they get dry.
That's amazing.
Neat plant. It's native to North America. The Native Americans grew it. Some people say they might have even grown it before corn, domesticated the sunflower. They use this for dye.
Really,
You know,
the petals?
The yellow, yep. This gives you a yellow pigment.
We've come so far away from knowing that the whole plant can be used for something. Oh,
So-
looks like
So the inside is
milky.
it's like a cork, very spongy.
Yeah. Spongy. Yeah.
This is still growing, but when this plant's dry, this could be used like as a fire starter. That's what they would have done.
Wow.
This inside material.
Yeah. Now that head was bit off. Did
somebody
or a deer?
These were sacrificed for somebody to enjoy on the table.
Ah.
That's okay. That's why you got to have numbers. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
People will come and they say, "Hey, can I pick a flower?" I'm like, "Man, you can pick all you want. You probably haven't picked your wild flowers in a while, so."
Go ahead. Oh, that's so sweet. I love it. So, got to have enough for the deer, the birds, your wife, a little bit of everybody. That's what I was wondering. How do you keep people from coming in and just cutting these? Because they're so beautiful.
Well,
A little off the road,
yeah.
so maybe.
They, and we have them right beside the road at years, and you come up and,
Yeah, because they're not as genius as you. They won't know what to do with it.
No, what do I call them? Picture poachers. Just come in and fall out here and get lost.
Yeah. Wow. How many acres is this?
This field is, it's a dry land corner that really doesn't get watered. It's about 4.5 acres, I think.
And how many acres do you have total planted?
We're going to have total, I think it's 110. We're putting some behind watermelons, so that's kind of when the seed run out, that's when I'll stop.
Okay.
A little different this year. We rotate our sunflowers around so that the soil diseases don't get in them. Just like any other crop, you got to rotate it.
Yeah.
And so this year they just fell in some smaller fields, and we have some bigger ones, but they're back in the woods and a little difficult to get to.
Yeah. So do you just do one planting, or will you be able to do a second planting here?
We've planted this, what was it, April 27th. We planted another planting June 16th, and then we'll have some probably planted around mid-July when the watermelons come off.
Oh, okay. That's what you were saying. All right.
So I guess three plantings, usually one, sometimes two.
Yeah.
Now,
will you be able to plant right in here, or no? You'll plant another area?
You could probably squeeze off another crop because you only need 100 days. And sunflowers, in our weather, last year I had some blooming in January.
Oh, wow.
Volunteers that the cold didn't get. They were sheltered a little bit, so we didn't have killing frost until February. So.
Right, yeah. Wow.
So they're pretty hardy. They're very drought tolerant, thankfully, for this season. And they kind of determine themselves on the height, head size by spacing.
Yeah.
We try to do our best.
Yeah, I planted a couple of varieties that they got over 7 feet tall. So do you try to keep them the not quite that tall, or is it?
These I think the dirt here in this field, like I told you, they struggled a little bit coming up. I've got another field, and we can surely go to it. It's very close. They average 6.5 feet. Like the whole field is over your head.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah.
So it's a good contrast to see these. These are fine to me because I don't fear them getting blown over by the wind as much as big tall ones. A hurricane comes through and they could be laid down.
Yeah.
Anything can happen.
All right. This is beautiful. Genius, I'm telling you.
Oh, no.
I've been thinking about that. I'm like, who just decides they're going to make their own gasoline, make their own fuel? Who just does that? Okay, we're going to go to another field?
Sure, yeah.
All right. This is amazing.
This is a nice field here. This is a good farm. A little taller here.
Yeah, I see some of the little renegades coming up.
Uh-huh. You always have some.
Wow.
This is a field that you can really tell the big word I had to look up, heliotropism.
Uh-huh.
Where the flower turns and twists to follow the sun.
To follow the sun.
It does it very young on. These are kind of locked in place now. They're not going to be looking that way this afternoon. They're going to be facing the east. And one reason is to protect the head, the seed, from the afternoon sun. It gets so hot. They're actually looking away from the sun by then to protect the back of the...
Oh, wow.
Above 90, I'm crazy for growing them because above 95 degrees or so, they don't pollinate as well. And we have 105 last week trying to, begin pollination. So You can tell these have been really struggling. The leaves up 3 feet tall are dry and falling off. And that's from drought. They're just shedding the lower leaves to survive. And so interesting to see, though, where these tall trees block the morning sun. They don't really know which direction to look. They know east is not giving them what they need, so they'll turn and look that way. Right under there's a good way to see
Oh, I see them. Yeah, that's amazing. I'm just in awe of God's creation. It's just amazing. So when they're younger, they'll turn their heads to get the sun. But then once the seeds start forming, they don't turn in the afternoon to face the sun to protect the seed.
They're locked in. They'll be looking this way this afternoon. You know, for the most part, you might have one or two of those down there. That,
you're going to have a few rebels.
Yep. But, and it's neat, too, to see how the stalk kind of twist and bend and have little variations in the joint in there where she's growing every few days, shot up, shot up, shot up.
Yeah, they grow really fast, I've discovered. Sometimes I thought I could almost watch them move because it was just so fast.
Yeah, they do, you know. It seems like it takes forever to get going when they're little bitty. And then they get about this tall and they look like little soldiers, and then...
Now, is there male and female plants? You referred to her as a she. Is that just friendly or affectionate?
Yes, friendly.
But is there, you know, like some plants you have to have? No? Not with these?
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah. The bees are busy. They love it.
They are. This was a pretty field.
Yeah. This looks a little further along than the first field we went to.
This one's a little more uniform.
Yeah.
I see one here that's a good one to show you. Drier head. And the head's even starting to curve around. But you can really tell there. Those flowers are dried down. They've been pollinated and underneath it.
That is so cool.
Most of them fall off.
All of this will fall off on its own?
I wish it would. Some of it stays, and then that's something we have to clean out with the combine.
Yeah. That was my next question. You harvest this with combine, with the machine? Yeah.
Yep. When they dry down, they're going to be about, probably the heads will be hanging around in here. I'm going to come in and they'll be totally dry.
And you just
cut it off. It goes in the machine, and this is all we want, really. But you know, I tried not to spray it. I've never sprayed an insecticide on it. I have to do stuff for weeds, to keep we can't have pigweeds and noxious seed. I can't have anything that would be bad for us. So, but these are pretty clean.
Yeah, this is great.
Sunflowers are good because they grow so fast. They'll shade out
most everything. Yep. I noticed that in my flower bed too. So, speaking of things that are happening right now, I've read that Ukraine grows about 80% of the sunflowers of the world.
Right.
And so what has that done? How has that affected you, if it has?
Yeah, it did almost immediately when people realize that they're not going to be able to get this oil exported from these countries, and they don't want it from Russia, they can't get it from Ukraine.
Yeah.
So we had calls from very large companies wanting metric tons of oil and containers of it. And most of those I try to push on to larger, commercial oil makers, but there have been some smaller that need for their skincare business.
Yeah.
This is a group out of Douglasville, Urban Eden. They started buying barrels of oil from us.
Oh, wow.
So they're very excited that they got a Georgia source of oil, and we're excited that, here's an outlet that I can count on to use it in bulk.
That's great.
As you know, the shipping and supply issues, I can't get bottles when I want or as many as I want.
I know.
So
that's,
yes. You know.
Yes, I know. That's been a nightmare for us as well.
I'm to the point now. I used to want to be consistent, always have the look the same and not confuse people. But now I'm like, hey, if I can you may be getting it in a Ziploc bag. Whatever I can get it in.
I've got some 6-gallon buckets for you.
Yes.
But hey, we've had a problem there too. And it wasn't wheat. There wasn't a wheat shortage. There isn't a wheat shortage. Just we couldn't get buckets to put the wheat in.
Right.
Yeah. So
America's got itself in a big mess by outsourcing all of our manufacturing.
Yeah.
For the most part, we've become a service country, a service industry, and that's not smart.
No, it's not smart. They're not genius like you.
You keep using that word, and I don't think you know what that word means.
I do. I just think you were. Well, God put an idea in your heart, in your mind, and you acted on it, and that's, I think, a good message for us as believers. You know, God says that if we delight in Him, He'll give us the desires of our heart. I think that doesn't mean He gives us what we desire. He gives us the desire, and then gives us the tools.
You have not because you ask not.
Yeah. So I still think you're genius, but anyway, we're just going to go with that. So that can be the title of the podcast, The Genius Clay Oliver.
No way. I insist that you don't.
I won't. But I just, that's all I could think about last night was, wow, what just an incredible plan and idea. An author I love to read, he calls them God ideas, not good ideas, God ideas. Mm-hmm. Yep. And when they're God ideas, and every one of us here have had God ideas that we've acted on, and it's been a blessing to other people. So I'm so excited. I'm just so excited to let our listeners know about you. We're going to make the cooking class available. Tiffany's got it edited, and so that will be available. And their gift shop is amazing too. So come to the store. The station in Pitts, Georgia. Tell them the address.
110 7th Avenue West.
Yes. And you may pass it before your GPS tells you that you have. So be looking once you turn off.
Challenge yourself. Can you get lost in a one-horse town?
I had to call because it kept taking me in circles. So even though my rider said, hey, there's and I just kept going because my GPS didn't tell me to stop. So anyway, yes, 110
7th Avenue West.
7th Avenue West. So what a blessing you've been to not just supply an incredibly nutritious, cold-pressed, no chemical oil, but your shop is bringing in local vendors and artisans to help them.
It's fun to get to support other people, and a lot of them are established already, but some of them, they're brand new, so it's like, wow.
This is a place.
Sold your first little thing here, you know, that's rewarding.
That is so great. Now, you grew up here in this area?
Yes, here
is this family farm that's been passed down to you, or?
This is not. This is a good family that we rent this farm from them.
Okay.
And our farm is closer to where the first field we stopped. I'm actually a little further west over the next hill.
Okay.
So.
Do you now? How about your lovely wife, Valerie? We're going to get her mic'd up so we can.
Yeah, Valerie grew up about 7 miles away from here on the other side. So we didn't go to the same elementary school, but, you know, we met in typing.
Ah, the typing class. Come on in here, Valerie. She's filming. Come on. So I'll never forget you called her you talked about Benny seed oil, how great it was. And she said, look how good she looks for 85 years old. So so that's great.
I'm wearing that one out.
His classic line.
Yes, that's his classic line. Well, I just thought it was brilliant. That's what I always tell people. Why do older women try to convince people they're 30? Why don't you say, I'm 90? And they go, whoa, you look great for 90. So anyway,
I got a much younger woman than
It's so special to meet you guys and just to see your ministry, your business. If it's like ours, which I think it is, I know it is.
Yeah.
It's more than a business.
People
it's
ask
a ministry.
questions.
Yeah. What's the shelf life of your oil? So obviously, you press it and it holds till next year. So is it about a year, or will it go beyond?
Yeah, a year, 18 months. I mean, the thing is, it's fresh, it has the flavor. So if you store it, and you know, anything can oxidize over time. So it's like fresh bread, you know, you go ahead and eat that. You know, don't waste it. So, but it does have a shelf life. Being high oleic, that gives it an even longer shelf life than normal sunflower oil. So.
Now, you have other varieties of oils.
Yes.
I know the Benny seed is grown in South Carolina, right? And that's a heritage seed, right?
Right. Yep. It's a sesame native to Africa, the plant was, and brought over by the slaves, grown and kind of made its way into the cuisine. Even Thomas Jefferson, back in like 1803 or so, he was like, this oil needs to be grown because it's the best salad oil. It was his favorite. And just kind of fell out of favor because of other various
seeds.
reasons.
Yeah.
But flavor profiles, really neat. I shipped some, to this morning to Chef Sean Brock in Nashville, Tennessee.
Oh, wow.
He's really well known. So
Yeah.
I like working with
I've been adding it to my lotion that I put on. I use an aloe vera lotion, so I've been adding it to that, and I just love the smoothness of it. It is, and it smells delicious.
Yeah.
Too.
And
So-
it soaks in quickly.
Yeah,
So
it's beautiful. I love it. I love it. Now, so that's grown in South Carolina, but the pecan oil that you
It's
have.
all local here,
And the
yep.
pumpkin seed.
Peanuts are local. I'm set to pick up. We have a shelling plant 5 miles away, state of the art. That I'm fortunate to get world-class peanuts.
grown right here.
Bring them right over, shell, press it, make the oil. The pecans about the same thing. Local farms that specialize in pecans, that's their thing. The pumpkin seed, I think right now it's coming out of Illinois. 'Cause our climate, we just can't grow this type of pumpkin. So that's pretty local versus from overseas or China or something like that.
Yeah.
And I can't remember what else. The okra, I just made an order for okra seed to press another run of it, and it'll be coming from Arizona,
Okay.
believe it or not.
Yep.
That's where they grow it for seed.
Oh, wow. Okay.
They don't pick it to eat it. They grow it.
Are you pressing anything right now?
We are.
Can we see that?
Yes.
All right. Y'all ready to
Off
go?
to the next
Yes.
adventure.
Yes. Get out the gnats and the heat.
Yes.
Yay.
We'll come into the little oil shack.
All right. Oh, it's nice and cool.
Probably a mess.
So, it's about 60 days from planting till the flowers bloom,
Yes.
right? And then about how long did you say
30 to 40 days
to harvest the seeds? Then once the seeds are harvested, how soon do you press it?
Once the seed are harvested, we'll put them on a truck, wagon, something, get them back to the farm. Then they'll go into containers, totes. I put them into totes, set them on a pallet, and then I store those. Then as needed, or as soon as
Possible.
we start cleaning them. I pull them out. I have a cleaner. I run it through, get any trash, debris, whatever the combine doesn't clean on its own. That's comes out, and then we bring it in here. We set it pallets down inside here and begin pressing.
Okay. All right. Do you have to refrigerate the seeds?
No, I mean, of course, it's best to keep them cool, and we've got them, like I said, in the containers, under shelters. So it's better than being out in the open sun.
Right,
But
right.
we're in South Georgia, so it gets hot.
Yes. All right. Okay. It smells heavenly in here.
Got a mess of stuff. Yeah, got things that were...
What you pressing?
Today in there we're doing sunflower. This is cashew. I got a request from a soaper for cashew oil. Some high dollar stuff they're doing.
Yeah.
This is Nigella,
Oh, that's the black.
the black seed. Yep. It's not open.
The black. Is that the black cumin seed? Is that what that is? The Nigella? Isn't that called? It's
I
not.
think
It's called black cumin, but it's
called
not cumin.
Yes,
That's right.
yes,
Yes.
that's
It's
right.
still got some heat to
That's
it.
what we said. There's a difference, but
Yeah.
still called that.
The health benefits.
That's what
People buy this just to drink it.
Yes, they say it cures everything but dying.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's what
I
they
think
say.
is it Ezekiel is mentioned or Isaiah? one?
Yes, the where it talks about the field and the cumin on. Yes.
It feels like aquarium gravel.
Yeah. Wow.
Comes out looking like motor oil too.
It does.
So where does this come from? Do you know?
I've ordered this from a bulk supplier just because,
Just because it's
not
your
native
special
here. Yeah.
special making this.
Yeah, cashews. I don't think I've ever seen a cashew tree.
Those grow in Tanzania. They have
Okay.
them all over where we go. They have the cashew trees there, and they're just in the street vendors walking up and down with cashew nuts. So these are your sacks of sunflower seeds?
Yeah, I'm running out of room today. This is actually, we pelletize the sunflower seed after I'm pressing it. Here's the seeds.
Wow, those are dark.
Black oil sunflower.
But now that's still got the shell. Okay, so you press it with the shell on. Okay.
Yep, gonna press it. But I don't have a means to get the
that shell
off.
off. Okay.
There are no small scale shellers.
Yeah.
They're besides foreign-made things, I don't trust them.
Yeah.
So we found a way to
just press it.
Deal with it. Yeah. It's the only thing we do with the shell on. So these are pretty dry seed, unfortunately, for us this past season. For whatever reason, the oil yield is lower than normal. You know, we can tell by, got so many pounds in this, it should yield so much oil. Well, some of it's even half
what it's been.
Is
that because of dry weather?
Yeah, pollination, over-fertilization.
Who knows?
Too much fertilizer is bad for sunflowers, and we may have, last year at the wrong time, put some to it, and then we got good rains.
Yeah, and then that...
You think it looks good, but it might not be the best.
Yeah. So. Now, this is when did you harvest this?
This was harvested, I'm guessing September last year. So they were harvested, stored, and then now we're trying to run out. I think I'm good to make it through.
Yeah.
Till they come in.
Yeah.
But I only have like 40 acres growing right now.
Oh, okay.
I'm waiting on these others to come in.
Yeah. Okay.
To make the bulk of my year's crop, so I'm a little nervous about that.
Yeah. All right.
And somebody else is helping too, so I get real nervous.
Yeah.
The thing is, the business grew. I kind of got out of farming so much, doing it, driving the tractor, planting the fields, and relying on my brother
and
others to, they want to grow sunflowers for the birds and to have them for the family. So it kind of works,
Yeah.
I can supply them with these seed that I want for the oil, and then they can still enjoy the flowers.
So, so you just brought something up. So you save seed to plant, or do you purchase new seed each year?
I purchase seed.
Okay.
I have people who buy these to plant.
Okay.
But I'm just thinking, since it is a hybrid, it's not that costly for me.
Yeah.
I've planted them, they'll come up.
Yeah.
I need the oil to be that great high oleic
oil. Mm-hmm. So you want to make, because a hybrid doesn't necessarily give you consistent crops. Is that right? So you want to make sure what you're getting.
Right.
And have as few of those renegades as possible.
Second generation, right? You could have those with the multiple heads, which, or even a deer. You mentioned deer earlier. If the deer nips off the sunflower head, it'll grow back with multiple heads, right?
Yes.
So those are already a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks behind the other flowers.
Yes.
And then those little bitty ones that don't really form
the seed.
Almost looks like a black-eyed Susan head.
Yes, because I grew sunflowers, like I said, for flower arrangements, and that was fine. I loved them to produce those other heads, but they were always smaller. Yeah. Yep. All right. That's beautiful, though.
Come check this out in here.
All right.
So as you see, we're pressing the sunflower.
That's crazy. Okay, Mr. Genius.
What's happening is the seed, the commodity, whatever we do is coming down, gravity fed. There's a screw in here that's pushing it forward into this specifically designed end here that shears it down almost like a pencil eraser to start with. And then the way this one is designed, we pelletize it. It's easier to handle. The bulk, it gets bulky when it's not compressed, if you will.
Yeah.
It's fluffy and light. So this is easy to handle. And then we take this, put it in 50-pound bags, and sell it for cow feed. This is 28 to 30% protein.
Wow.
Yeah. We put it on pallets and sell it by the ton.
That's amazing.
Or you can get a bag if you want it, or your goat, or some guys feed deer with them, bait their deer.
How about chickens?
Oh yeah, chickens. When you crumble it down, it's a little large pieces here for a chicken, but I have a guy that comes up from Florida about once a month. He buys a ton. He says he's soaking it now and feeding it to his chickens. He said if you soak it, they'll eat it easier.
There you go.
30% protein though, so it's a pretty stout ration. Another thing we figured out is that it's also organic fertilizer. So if you want to use something besides synthetic chemical-based fertilizers, it's just our proteins, right?
Yeah.
So it blew my mind thinking about it again, how God created these things and there's life in itself, even in,
In the leftovers.
Yeah. This is like a 333 NPK. For instance, chicken manure, chicken litter. If you get good chicken litter, you're hoping to get like a 333 of balance in there. What was it? Okra. The okra meal is like a 411, so it's higher in nitrogen and lower in the.
So that's better for your corn or some of those.
So we sell it in little 25-pound bags for home gardeners or people that want to use some alternative fertilizer. I have a lady. She farms up in what's that? I want to say Milledgeville, but she's Jeffersonville, Rag and Frass Farm, and she buys about the bulk of my okra meal for her. She puts it on tomatoes when she plants the tomatoes.
Okay.
That's her nitrogen. She got it approved through her third-party organic certifier, and
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
yep, waste
Wow.
not, want not.
There you go. That's amazing. Just being a good steward of what God's given you, not wasting one single bit of anything.
The sunflower with the shell on it's going to leave that black pigment in the oil. It's going to be it almost looks like motor oil. You can tell as it's coming out there. It's kind of brown looking. Well, what we do is we let the oil settle and rack. Solids will come out, and then you can kind of tell.
Yeah,
here,
I can see there.
There's a layer here.
Okay, so you started this operation when? I know you said in 2008, but when did you really get going with
2008
oil?
is when I had the idea, and I just got the bug of making oil. How do you make oil? What can you do with this? So many uses for oil. And in 2012, I had saved up, we planted sunflowers in the spring. And then I didn't buy the first press until the fall, like September. I made some pretty good peanuts. Yeah. And I took some money and bought a press. And just that January or so, we built the first little part of this. And so
Wow.
2013, 2012.
10 years.
10 years
Look
now.
where you've come.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
One person did an article about us, and she said he makes it in a little building, like a little shack. So now I'm like,
So now you're the oil shack.
come to the oil shack.
Yeah, come to the oil shack. That's okay.
I made a friend with a restaurant owner because his restaurant is called The Shack, named The Shack. And he's like, hey, I own The Shack in Stanton, Virginia. I want to try your oil.
Okay.
We've been friends
shack
ever
to
since.
shack.
We sell his stuff in the store. He's a James Beard Award-winning chef.
Oh, wow.
Good Food Award-winning craft sauce maker. So
Yeah.
I love his stuff.
Wow. So how much does the hopper there, about how many pounds or whatever, kilograms or whatever?
I'm guessing around 40 pounds or so.
In one hopper?
Yeah.
And that'll make how much oil? Do you have any idea? Well, you don't know. I mean, how much settles out and everything?
That'd give me a couple of gallons out of 40 pounds.
Wow.
Sunflower seed are 40% oil.
Yeah.
That little seed's 40% oil.
That's amazing.
I'm going to lose a little bit because of the shell.
Yeah.
Peanuts are about 50% oil. Pecans are actually really high at about 75%. So they make a lot of oil. This is pretty slow. We have to run them all day. We run into the night. I have a guy that comes in at 5 and pulls about 8 hours. We actually have a fourth press that is not in operation right now. So it's waiting some repairs from the society. It's the world, man. I mean, I've been waiting for months. Just to get
for parts. Yes. Our copy machine was down for about 2 months because they said we can't find a part. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So these can run continuously, or do you need to shut them down for a bit? And
you have to clean them periodically.
Yeah.
Depending on the commodity, some are a lot more prone to make a mess. They're oilier. Peanuts and pecans are,
Yeah.
You don't wear your clean clothes in here, because you're gonna get oil on everything.
All right.
So,
Well, they're bottling back there.
yes.
You want to go back there and see them bottling?
Sure. I'm sure they want to.
You're making the infused.
Yes.
All right.
Everybody's favorite. So it's time consuming. Each spice goes in one at a time. You can't mix them because you can't get it right. So you got to do everything one at a time. They think I'm crazy because I have a certain way I want the spices to go in. I like the red on the bottom and then the green towards the top. If you put the rosemary in first, it's going to hang up there and drop a wad down in the bottom.
So you're talking about the 8, because you have 8 spices, right? Herbs and spices that go in. So you put each one in one at a time? Wow.
Way it's consistent.
That's right. Now what's in these?
Different oils. It's pecan, it's peanut, pumpkin seed oil. See, we deal with allergens. Okay, some of them severe, high-ranking allergens. All tree nuts are going to be on that list, and everybody knows peanuts are that way. And some people, believe it or not, are allergic to sunflowers.
Yeah.
So one thing we have to do is keep everything labeled. Everything's got to be, one thing at a time. No cross-contamination. Those issues. Clean between each press.
Yep, I was about to ask you that a few minutes ago. Yeah.
The good thing about my machines is they're small enough to break down.
And clean.
Every part that touches the commodity, we can put soap and water on, sanitize it. So
that's good.
you pump it in, and then, I looked at bottling machines, but again, you'd have to designate one thing.
Yeah, for that machine.
Because you can't, I went to breweries and things, and I was like, wow, look, but it's all, they don't care if a little this goes in with that, or, they can flush it, but, I can't have any peanut oil, even on the equipment, so that's why.
Or in the room, or if it's a big.
It's best just for us, and for me, keep it small and easy to contain, clean.
Yeah.
I thought getting big vats, but, you have sedimentation and even big things, and maybe you can't get in and clean those things then,
Yeah.
If I hold this big in the top, you can't get your arm in there. Or these are easy to work with.
So does that get filtered at all, the oil, or you just let it settle?
It's going to settle. I'll paper filter it, and then I'm going to run it through the centrifuge.
Oh, okay. Wow. Now what does the centrifuge do?
So the centrifuge, it's basically spinning at a very high rate of speed. Heavier things stick, settle. Just like the old gravitron we used to ride. When you stuck, your jewelry might float up or something. Okay, well, the oil's lighter than any solids or water, and so therefore it's going to spin that out. I mainly have the black from the shell, the pigment.
shell.
It's like you don't see it here, but it's enough in it that this thing spins down to 1 micron, so it gets really, really fine.
Yeah.
And then it goes in a tank and pull out as needed.
Okay. So presses, settles, then you draw that off and centrifuge, and then before you bottle.
Yeah, there may be a piece of shell or something that fell
gets
in,
through,
so we paper filter it so it doesn't go through here. And then,
okay. All right.
Yep. And the waxes that are sometimes in the oil, the shell has wax in it to protect the seed from moisture.
Yes.
So that's soluble in the oil, and then it can form back and look, unpleasant, unsightly in the glass. So we take some means to remove the oil, the wax.
The wax, yeah.
That's what I need to find a use for. The
wax.
Sludge and the wax.
Well.
It's the stuff in the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah.
So what I do is combine all that, capture all the oil I can, and then that is the one thing I don't have a home for.
Is that?
You see it?
That sediment. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So you can see a layer about 1 inch.
Of some of the oil that's risen up, but the most of it is the sludge.
That'd be 700 pounds of something. It's a little too much fat to feed the sunflower to say a hog.
Yeah.
It's too much. Now I do have, like, you can see some in there, pecan and peanut, the butters, the fines. I have a home for that, and we can consume it. I can't sell it because it's cold pressed. It doesn't get hot enough. That's really the waste, and that's a good example of it right there.
Okay.
So that'd be about 40 pounds of pure raw peanut butter.
Oh, wow.
This is probably this full of pure pecan butter.
But you can't sell it
For
to
human
human
consumption.
consumption.
Now, could animals,
It's too high fat.
well, like dogs, treats and things, but the animal market's a little more difficult to get in than human, believe it or not.
Isn't that interesting?
Testing and all that you have to do for pets.
Wow. That's kind of interesting.
Yep. So, yeah, that's something we're still figuring. I don't want to waste it, and I really
Right.
can't afford to just dump it. So
Right.
at the landfill. So figure
Yeah.
something out.
Yeah. Okra
Anybody
flour.
looking for 25 pounds of okra flour?
Do you bake with it? What do you do with it?
This is the one flour I don't know.
Yeah.
We have some people that use it. One restaurant was wanting to make a miso.
Yeah.
It gets real tacky and sticky.
Yeah.
The okra does.
Oh, yeah. So the
I
seeds
mean-
going to too.
Yep.
Of course, buckwheat gets that way. I mean,
Exfoliating.
when you make something out of buckwheat flour, it's real stringy. It's real gelatinous, kind of. It's pretty.
Yeah, here's pecan for comparison in color.
So how do you do the flour? When you press the oil out, you have the leftover.
So I take this and I have a little mill over here in one of the buildings. It's a little 5-horse flour mill, and grind until it gets powder.
But now, I mean, and this is the whole pecan before you press
Defatted.
Defatted.
So it's pecan protein powder.
Wow. That's interesting.
This is about 30% protein. I can't remember exactly. 30%. The peanut is 50% protein, and pumpkin, if I have some of it, which is the neat.
Yeah, which I want to take some home and work with it a little bit and think about carrying it. And I meant to do it when y'all came up. Is that the pumpkin?
So it's green, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Make green cookies, green pancakes.
That's crazy.
60% protein.
Wow.
Pumpkin's super
You would
food.
think your keto lovers would.
Here we are.
There you are. So these are gift boxes. Can I open one?
Sure, yeah.
Show. Let's see what's in here. Is it sealed or just pulls?
No, it's just
Oh, there we go. It's just.
tabs.
Oh, wow. So here's a nice gift box. Pecan oil, green peanut oil, and infused sunflower seed oil.
And we have it with the infused and then with the regular, depending on.
What you want.
preference, yeah.
I think that recipe for the slaw, the Asian slaw with the green peanut oil, that was a favorite when y'all came up for class. That was delicious. Because some people are like, what do you do with green peanut oil? But it was delicious. Oh, look at the little bottles. I love the little bottles. Little
Minis.
samplers.
Yeah.
Oh, that wouldn't last me a day.
Started out as,
But it's cute.
if a chef needs something, they want to try it. I don't want to give them a whole bottle, or
Yeah.
this is easier to ship 2 or 3 or 4. Or,
Little stocking stuffers.
Yep. A lot of people give them like little gift baskets.
Yeah. Yeah. So I know Deborah was asking Valerie, you ever brought bees in to get, I mean, I saw all the bees, so do they make honey somewhere? Or
You
do
know,
they?
I would think you would need it. So far, we haven't. And when I ask beekeepers, they're like, I'm not really interested in moving for the short period of time
That they're-
there. And we have bees that are in hives around, and I know they're traveling to them, but as far as putting them right down on it, I've not.
Yeah, to get sunflower
Right,
seed honey?
what I was like, and they're like, sunflower honey's not as good as you think.
Okay.
Would
Okay.
I want that?
That would be another aspect of this.
Maybe I
operation.
just got the wrong guys on that.
Well, I don't know. Different honeys have different flavors, and there's some that I know, like our bakery, we would get loads from big. And every now and then it would be like, this makes the bread taste really bad.
How about it?
Yeah, it's just kind of strange. So, how often is the store open? Is it year round? Do you keep it somebody up there
we're
working it
open Monday through Saturday.
all year?
Yes.
Do you have enough traffic to come to it? I mean, do people turn off the beaten path, or is it mostly
Some
locals?
days you do, and some days it's a little slower.
Well, hey, that's like, I mean, we are too, because we're definitely a destination location as well. So,
Yeah, town of 300, very rural community, and we're selling high-end
yeah.
items. It's a little risky, but be surprised the people that come and doors, avenues that got opened. We joined a group called Harvest Host, where anyone who owns an RV and is a member of this club can come stay overnight at the farm. All they have to do is shop with us, and that's something. If you got a spot that you could put one RV or a camper, then they come in, and the requirement I think is $25, but
Right.
gosh, most of them are. And some of them are repeat. Now they're our friends. They send other visitors our way. So that's kind of like a little,
Made a good little network.
it's growing.
There.
And they say like, I never would have driven 15 miles off the interstate if not for this club I'm in. And I was like, well, okay, but you made it.
Yeah. Yeah. Y'all have just been such a joy to meet, and
Thank you, Sue.
I just love it. Every time we get in the car, I'm like, I just love them. They're so sweet.
We love y'all.
All right. Well, we're ready to do some shopping at the store, don't you think? Yeah. I got to go home with some of that. All right. So this is where it's happening in Pitts, Georgia.
It's about all that's happening in Pitts, yeah.
This is called the Station. When did you open your store here?
It's been a little over 2 years now.
Okay.
We've had this open. Yep.
This is great. This
Took
is
us
so
a
great.
year or so to turn it around, clean it up. It's a 1965 model gas station.
Oh, I love
Service
it.
station, had a jack in the floor, washout pit, pumps out front. So
Oh,
we had to
my goodness.
totally gut it, clean it, paint it.
You're amazing.
Here we are.
I'm telling you, you're amazing. And what a blessing, local.
Yes. Get to support a lot of local makers.
This is, yeah.
Some of them, like I said before, well established. Some of them are just starting out, so it gives them a little place
Yeah.
to test their feet.
From jewelry to honey to veggies, sauces, spices. This is amazing. Art. Wow.
puppies.
I love it. Puppies. What a blessing you are to so many. I know. So, come on, Valerie, get in here. Come on. I just want to thank y'all for having us up today, being a part of our podcast, and just encouraging. It's just encouraging so many people in so many ways to follow the idea God puts in your heart, and
Yeah.
look
don't
where
be
it takes
ashamed.
you.
Yeah.
Don't be ashamed. Don't be afraid. Step
Don't be
out
afraid,
in faith.
yeah. And then acknowledge Him.
Yeah, I'm preaching to myself here. But what a blessing it's been. I've learned so much. I learned about worms. I've learned about sunflowers. I've learned about oil and all kinds of things.
Yeah.
You're a genius.
You keep saying that word.
Is he?
Sometimes.
Sometimes. There you go. Good answer. Good answer. But thank you both. And thank you for just having us and showing us around and spending
You're
your morning with us.
You're welcome.
Before it got
We've
too hot.
enjoyed it.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And if y'all should come to Pitts, Georgia, come off the road, take a break here with Valerie and Clay Oliver at the station. What a wonderful day we had in Pitts, Georgia with our new friends Clay and Valerie Oliver. We began and ended our day at the station, which was once literally an old gas station that the Olivers transformed into a quaint little specialty shop. The station not only sells all of the amazing oils and products produced at Oliver Farm, but also gives local artisans and businesses an outlet for their products as well. The Oliver's heart is to be a blessing to their community. Well, we said our goodbyes with lots of hugs as well as bags of goodies purchased, and we headed to the car to begin the next leg of our adventure for the day. But as we backed out of the parking lot of the station, I could not help but think of the similarities between Clay Oliver and George Washington Carver. Some years ago, I had read a brief story about George Washington Carver, and since meeting Clay and Valerie Oliver, I knew that it was a story worth sharing. So to close today, I thought I would read an excerpt of the story of George Washington Carver from Mark Batterson's book, Draw the Circle. And here it is. Around the turn of the 20th century, the agricultural economy of the South was suffering as the boll weevil devastated cotton crops. The soil was being depleted of nutrients because farmers planted cotton year in and year out. Enter George Washington Carver, one of the most brilliant scientific minds of the 20th century. Carver introduced the concept of crop rotation and encouraged farmers to plant peanuts instead of cotton. The rotation of crops revived the soil, but it didn't revive the economy because there was no market for peanuts. The abundant peanut crop rotted in warehouses because supply was greater than demand. When frustrated farmers complained to Carver, he did what he had always done. He took a long walk and had a long talk with God. George Washington Carver routinely got up at 4 a.m. and walked through the woods and asked God to reveal the mysteries of nature. Job 12:7-8 was one of the most circled promises of the Bible. Speak to the earth and it will teach you, it says. Ask the animals and they will teach you, or the birds in the sky and they will tell you, or let the fish in the sea inform you. Carver took that promise at face value. He literally asked God to reveal the mysteries of nature, and God answered his prayer. Carver is famous for discovering more than 300 uses for the peanut, but the genesis of those revelations was one conversation with God, and in his own unique fashion, Carver shared the story behind the story. He says, I asked God, why did you make the universe, Lord? Ask for something more in proportion to that little mind of yours, replied God. Why did you make the earth, Lord? I asked. Your little mind still wants to know far too much. Ask for something more in proportion to that little mind of yours, replied God. Why did you make man, Lord? Far too much. Far too much. Ask again, replied God. Explain to me why you made plants, Lord. Your little mind still wants to know far too much. The peanut, I asked meekly. Yes, for your modest proportions, I will grant you the mystery of the peanut. Take it inside your laboratory and separate it into water, fats, oils, gums, resins, sugars, starches, and amino acids. Then recombine these under my 3 laws of compatibility, temperature, and pressure. Then you will know why I made the peanut. On January 20th, 1921, George Washington Carver testified before the House Ways and Means Committee on behalf of the United Peanut Association. The chairman, Joseph Fordney of Michigan, told him he had 10 minutes. An hour and 40 minutes later, the committee told Carver he could come back whenever he wanted and take as much time as he needed. Carver mesmerized the committee by demonstrating a myriad of ingenious uses for the peanut. Everything from glue to shaving cream to soap to insecticides to cosmetics to wood stains to fertilizers to linoleum. Those 300 uses of the peanut were not good ideas. They were God ideas. And one God idea is worth more than 1,000 good ideas. Just as with George Washington Carver, difficult economic times led Clay Oliver to pray for ways to overcome the difficulties of the times, to bless not only himself, but also others. I called him a genius, but he objected and said he just prayed. And as he prayed, God gave him ideas. And like George Washington Carver, he would act on those ideas and do the next thing. As Clay shared throughout our time together, his story, his ideas, his integrity, his wise farming practices, his logical methods of keeping down pests and weeds, the incredible creation of the sunflower, and how he is constantly seeking different ways to use not just the oil he makes, but every part of the byproducts that are left from the process. I was amazed and blessed. From animal feed to fertilizer, Clay Oliver wants nothing to be wasted. And what he hasn't found a use for yet, he is storing until God gives him another God idea. Good ideas are great, but God ideas can change your life and the lives of others. If you want to be as blessed as we were, then take a trip to Pitts, Georgia. Tell them we sent you. They will be so glad to see you. But you can also find all of these wonderful Oliver Farm oils: sunflower seed oil, infused sunflower seed oil, pecan oil, Benny seed oil, pumpkin seed oil, and green peanut oil in our store, Breadbeckers, or online at breadbeckers.com. I want to thank you for listening today. Be blessed. And until next time, this is Sue Becker from Breadbeckers with Sue's Healthy Minutes.
Sue's Healthy Minutes podcast has been a presentation by the Breadbeckers Incorporated, located in Woodstock, Georgia. For more information, store hours, and learning opportunities, visit breadbeckers.com and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Make sure to subscribe to this podcast and never miss an episode. Share this with 2 friends who would benefit from this information, and be sure to join us again next week for more of Sue's Healthy Minutes.